Hello and happy Monday to you all. If you live here in Michigan, it may not be quite so happy, depending on how you feel about snow. We are expected to get between 4 and 8 inches today before the day is over with. So you know what this means? It means I'm going to drive to the school twice to pick up children. And that's it. I was going to go to the store today. I'm not going to the store today. I think maybe if I had our Edge, I might, but I'm driving the Malibu, and no, I'm just not doing it. No Bible study, none of that stuff. It's just not happening. So, it's okay. I've tried several times to do a Monday, Melissa's Monday Musing, and failed miserably. And I think it's maybe because it's the wrong kind of topic. Possible. All of them, if you've seen them, all sounded like ramblings of a very tired woman. And I am still a very tired woman. This time change has not been very friendly, and there's a stupid fly flying around behind me. This time change has had me up at 5 a.m. every single morning for the last week. And it can stop any minute now. I'd greatly appreciate that. So, the last Monday musing, I had shared the grief I've been trudging through and how I didn't even recognize the signs because it was different than before. And so someone reached out and said, things like this should really be recorded so that you could share them on more than just on Facebook. So this is what I'm doing. Sorry for those that like the live chats. I'll still chat with you. Just it won't be live. Okay? So since then, we had fun and spent Tuesday in the ER with my oldest. He had his very first asthma attack. And I was astounded at the level of peace that my son and I were feeling. He's never had any breathing problems before until this year. When the weather hit about 50 degrees and started getting wet, he started doing like what my husband does, and the lungs get tight. It feels like someone's got your lungs in their fists and they're just squeezing as hard as they can. And so my oldest, he had made noise that this was happening. And so we were kind of watching it. We'd set an appointment with his primary care doctor. But last Tuesday, he calls me up at about 10:30 in the afternoon, telling me in very shallow breaths that he cannot breathe, that it had been a half an hour to 45 minutes, and he couldn't catch a breath, and that his arms were turning purple. Now, that could be because he was cold. I'm not sure, but here we are a week later, and he has a regimen of inhalers to keep on hand and to use in the morning and in the evening, and doctor appointments to follow up with. But the peace that filled that room was just amazing. We've watched my husband go through this a couple of times, and so we knew what to expect, and never once did Michael I try not to get my kids out. Never once did my son think that he was going to die from this. He knew better, and he trusted that I was going to make sure that he was taken care of, and that the nurses and the doctors were going to do the same. So, and then at Sunday, for Sunday school, we talked about peace yesterday, and I had to kind of smile like, yeah, there's a theme. And so, I'm feeling it this year, just in general. Now that I've put this grief thing to bed, and handed those emotions over to God to deal with in me, and there has been an astounding peace. It's that peace that we read about in the Bible that just, quote, passes all understanding. We live in a world that is constantly in turmoil in one way or another, and believers, we're told that this is going to happen. And then we're surprised when it does. And there has just been nothing but peace that has filled my heart and my mind during all of the mayhem outside the walls of our home and the hiccups inside the walls of our home. And it is the most beautiful thing. Beauty is not the word for it, but to know that God has this, whatever our situation is, God knows what he's doing, and I need to trust him. And in trusting him, I have found great peace. I don't understand everything that's happening. I don't know how to process everything that's happening. Things are so much different this year than it was last year. So, but I still trust that God is still on the throne, and he's going to walk us through these times. So I guess my thoughts are, they can impeach our president. They can, my children can be ill or have new hurdles to deal with. My husband and I, we can have moments where we're just there. But at the end of the day, God is in the middle of it for me and for the rest of my household. And that is the only thing that I can count on, and that I'm okay with doing that. So if you are in turmoil in one way or another, and you are not quite sure what the outcome is going to be, let me encourage you to just trust. Trust in the one that made you, that created you, that formed you in a likeness that he loves dearly. Because when you trust what he's doing and you trust his hand in your life, there is great peace that follows. All right? So, as our pastor says, grace and peace be with you, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.